Heartburn shows up at the quietest moment. You finish eating, sit back, maybe scroll your phone, and a warm pressure slowly rises from your upper abdomen into your chest. Not sharp enough to panic, not mild enough to ignore. A faint sour taste appears a few minutes later, as if your stomach briefly sent a message the wrong direction. You swallow, shift position, wonder what you did to cause it. The feeling has a dramatic name, heartburn, even though the heart isn't involved. The sensation comes from a very specific piece of anatomy, the esophagus, the swallowing tube that carries food from mouth to stomach. To understand why it feels the way it does, it helps to imagine your digestive system as a building with secure one-way doors between floors. Food enters at the top floor and travels downward. Between each level is a circular muscle called a sphincter, which simply means a ring-shaped gate. The most important one for this story sits right above the stomach. It's called the lower esophageal sphincter, the pressure valve that should open briefly when you swallow and then seal tightly afterward. Acid reflux happens when that valve relaxes at the wrong time. The stomach contains hydrochloric acid, a powerful digestive fluid designed to dissolve food into absorbable particles. The stomach lining is coated with protective mucus, but the esophagus has no such armor. So when even a small amount of acidic fluid or vapor moves upward, specialized nerve endings detect it immediately. The burning you feel isn't damage occurring in that moment. It's the alarm system activating early, warning the brain that stomach chemistry has crossed a boundary. Have you noticed how the sensation often appears after sitting or lying down? Gravity usually helps keep stomach contents below the valve. When posture changes, the pressure relationship changes too. Picture a half-filled water bottle. Upright, the liquid rests at the base. Tilt it sideways, and it spreads toward the cap. The stomach behaves similarly. Here's a common misunderstanding. Most reflux isn't caused by producing too much acid. In many cases, acid levels are perfectly normal. The issue is movement, not quantity, a plumbing problem more than a chemistry problem. That explains why the same meal can feel fine one day and uncomfortable the next. The valve's tightness varies moment to moment based on pressure, position, and nerve signals. Sometimes the reflux isn't liquid at all. Tiny airborne droplets, microscopic acid mist, can rise upward and irritate the throat. That's why people occasionally experience hoarseness, throat clearing, or a dry cough without classic burning. The esophagus and voice box share sensory nerves, so the brain interprets irritation as airway discomfort. Another interesting detail involves timing after eating. Roughly half an hour after a meal, the stomach begins strong mixing contractions called peristalsis, wave-like squeezing motions that churn food with acid. Pressure briefly increases. If the valve seal is slightly relaxed, a small amount escapes upward. Your body responds quickly. Swallowing triggers a clearing wave and releases bicarbonate-rich saliva, a mild natural buffer. That's why simply swallowing repeatedly or chewing can gradually ease the sensation. The body has its own rinse cycle. Breathing plays a role too. The diaphragm, the large breathing muscle beneath the lungs, wraps around the valve like an external support ring. Slow, deep breaths tighten this support momentarily, while shallow, rapid breathing reduces it. The rhythm of breathing quietly influences how firmly the door stays shut. You might also notice symptoms during emotional tension. This isn't imagined. Stress alters the autonomic nervous system, the automatic regulator of organs, and can briefly relax certain sphincters while increasing sensitivity of nerves. The same amount of acid can feel stronger because the detection system becomes more alert. Interestingly, reflux can feel sharper when the stomach is nearly empty. Without food acting as a buffer, small exposures stand out more clearly. The chemistry hasn't changed, only the context around it. Temperature matters as well. Very hot liquids relax smooth muscle tissue for a short time. Very cold sensations heighten nerve awareness. The esophagus responds to both, layering temperature perception onto chemical detection. Everyone experiences small reflux events daily. What turns it into a noticeable symptom is frequency and sensitivity, not mere occurrence. The nerves are designed to warn early so protective actions, swallowing, repositioning, happen before injury. Circadian rhythm also influences it. During sleep, saliva production drops dramatically and swallowing almost stops. Fewer clearing waves occur, so even tiny exposures linger longer. The same event feels stronger at night than during daytime activity. Sometimes people feel a lump in the throat without burning at all. This is called globus sensation. After irritation, muscles in the throat tighten defensively to prevent inhalation of stomach contents. The body braces, much like flinching after a splash of water. Fatty meals slow stomach emptying because they require more processing. Carbonated drinks expand gas volume. Large portions stretch the stomach wall and temporarily loosen the valve pressure. Each changes internal mechanics rather than acid strength itself. Posture matters in subtle ways. Bending sharply at the waist compresses the stomach upward, while bending at the hips keeps pressure lower. A small geometric difference the body notices immediately. There is also anticipation. Seeing or smelling food triggers the cephalic phase. The brain signals acid release before eating begins. If eating is delayed, acid waits without a buffer, making the first bites feel unusually warm. The vagus nerve, the communication line between brain and gut, coordinates all of this. Calm sensory signals encourage organized digestion. Abrupt stimulation disrupts rhythm briefly. The system constantly adjusts. When viewed this way, the sensation resembles a building smoke detector. It activates not because the building is failing, but because sensitive sensors detected particles where they shouldn't be. Annoying, sometimes puzzling, yet protective. Many cultures unintentionally support this design. Unhurried meals, upright conversation afterward, gentle evening routines. These behaviors don't fight the body. They cooperate with its mechanics. The discomfort can feel disproportionate to the event, and that alone can be unsettling. But the intensity reflects the importance of the boundary being protected. The esophagus has no tolerance for acid, so it uses sensation to request attention quickly. Your experience is valid because the signal is real, even when the cause is small. The body is communicating, not malfunctioning. Most episodes resolve through ordinary physiology, saliva neutralizing residue, gravity repositioning contents, coordinated muscle waves clearing the path. The alarm quiets as conditions return to normal. Understanding the process often changes the experience itself. The sensation becomes information rather than mystery, a momentary boundary reminder within a complex, constantly adjusting system. Inside you, digestion continues with remarkable precision. Pressures balancing, doors opening and closing, chemistry transforming food into energy. Occasionally, a signal rises to awareness, asking for space and time to restore separation. Not a sign of fragility, but of vigilance. A body carefully guarding where stomach ends and the esophagus begins, maintaining order in a place where powerful chemistry and delicate tissue live side by side.
Here are some scientifically proved ways to reduce acid reflux. 1. Respiratory muscle training, tightening the clamp.
The diaphragm acts as an external clamp around the esophageal gate. A weak diaphragm is a primary cause of reflux. The science. Clinical trials published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology show that inspiratory muscle training, IMT, breathing against resistance, significantly increases the resting pressure of the lower esophageal sphincter. Why it works? By strengthening the diaphragm, you are physically tightening the seal. This prevents the aerosolized acid from escaping into the esophagus, effectively fixing the gate from the outside in. 2. Melatonin supplementation, the sphincter signal. We usually think of melatonin for sleep, but your gut contains significantly more melatonin than your brain. The science. Research has found that melatonin stimulates the contraction of the lower esophageal sphincter and inhibits the production of gastrin, the hormone that triggers acid. Why it works. In a 2010 head-to-head study, a supplement containing melatonin and B vitamins was found to be as effective as a leading pharmaceutical acid blocker in resolving symptoms. It speaks directly to the vagus nerve and the muscular gate, telling the system to stay closed. 3. Low carbohydrate intervention, reducing gas pressure. Reflux is often driven by intra-abdominal pressure, IAP. One of the quietest triggers for this pressure is the fermentation of carbohydrates in the gut. The science. Studies have shown that a very low-carb diet, VLCD, can result in a near immediate reduction in the esophageal acid exposure. Why it works? Excess carbs can lead to transient lower esophageal sphincter relaxations, those accidental openings of the gate. By reducing the fermentation in the gut, you lower the pressure pushing up against the gate, allowing it to remain sealed. 4. Deglycyrrhizinated licorice, DGL. This is not the candy, but a specific extract of the licorice root that has had the blood pressure raising compound, glycyrrhizin, removed. The science DGL is a demulcent, meaning it stimulates the natural mucus production in the esophageal and stomach lining. Why it works. Rather than stopping the acid, which you need for digestion, DGL strengthens the bicarbonate-rich barrier. It helps the stratified squamous epithelium of the esophagus mimic the toughness of the stomach lining, making the tissue resilient to the microscopic droplets that cause the burn. And finally, weight loss, reducing intra-abdominal pressure. It sounds like standard advice, but the physics are undeniable. Visceral fat acts like a physical weight pressing on the stomach chamber. The science. Studies published in obesity reviews demonstrate that as BMI decreases, intra-abdominal pressure drops. This reduces the force pushing stomach contents against the esophageal gate. The result? For many, losing just 10% of their body weight can lead to a total cessation of reflux symptoms because the pressure gradient between the chest and abdomen returns to a healthy state. Follow these simple steps and eliminate heartburn from your life. Follow me and subscribe for more health tips.